said, Elvis, they're calling for you. You're on. And Elvis said, well, you heard me. You heard what he said, Larry. Nice meeting you. Talk to you some other time. And he walked away. It rocked my world. Now, what happened in my life next was this. Went to college for a little bit, and then I decided to become a hairdresser. And 3 years later, I sprouted up to the height that I am now, and another fella and myself opened in Hollywood the very first salon for men's hairstyling in America. And when we opened our doors, every major star in Hollywood came to us. Frank Sinatra, Paul Newman, Marlon Brando, Rock Hudson, Robert Wagner, everybody in Hollywood, singers. Roy Orbison was one of my clients. Peter Sellers became one of my clients. So 4 years later, actually it was in April of 1964, my phone rang at the salon, and on the other end of the phone was a fellow by the name of Alan Fortis, who worked for Elvis. And he said, Larry, Elvis heard about your work and would like you to come up to the house to style his hair. Now, every day I'm with all these movie stars, Sinatra, Henry Fonda, everybody. And it didn't really faze me. I enjoyed it. It was great. I was making money. I was styling hair. But the thought of meeting Elvis, that was to me it. Because Elvis was the celebrity of celebrities. And in the history of the whole entertainment world, going back to the beginning till right now, Elvis is the phenomenon of them all. Where he's buried at Graceland in Memphis is the #1 visited home in America. Elvis has sold more records and albums and CDs than any individual or group in the history of recording. More books have been written about Elvis. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And at that time, I was so excited. I drove up to Elvis's house, and I walked into his house, and he walked up to me, and he put his hand out. He said, "Hi, I'm Elvis Presley." And I'm having a flashback of that skinny little nervous kid 8 years earlier. And I said, "Hi, Elvis." And I'm looking down, because Elvis was about 5'11" and a half. And I said, "Hi, Elvis. Great to meet you." And I didn't tell him. What am I going to say? Hey, you remember me? So at any rate, he said, "Come on, man. We'll go into my bathroom. You'll fix my hair. We'll talk." Went into his bathroom. I expected to see a big salon chair and all that kind of stuff. Nothing of the sort. There was a basin, and Elvis said, "Come on, we'll do it right here." And he put his head in the basin, so I started to shampoo it, and I'm trying to rinse it out from the faucet with water. And all of a sudden, Elvis picked his head up and reared it, and water splattering everywhere on me, and he's drenched. And he looked at me with that $1 million smile of his, and he said, "Hey man, what the hell? At least it's clean." And when he said that, it's like I knew who Elvis was as a person, as a human being. He was so real, so down to earth. So he didn't have all those affectations that so many celebrities have. Like no ego. And some of these people in Hollywood, some celebrities that I've dealt with, man, I'll tell you, they want you to know who they are. Elvis was nothing of the sort. He was so genuine. So, he said, come on. We sat down in front of a large, long mirror and a marble ledge, and he's explaining to me that he's in this movie called Roustabout. And he said, now you can't cut too much because, you know, the scenes of the movie have to match. I said, Elvis, don't worry. I know exactly what to do. So I started to style his hair, and I'm cutting and cutting. And I would look in the mirror, and I would watch Elvis's eyes. He didn't say anything. He just followed every move that I made. And when I was through cutting his hair, and after I dried it, I sprayed it. And I want to tell you something. I've been with the most extraordinary looking actors, the most handsome faces of the 20th century. Paul Newman in his prime, Rock Hudson. And I'm going to tell you something. No one looked as extraordinary and had the beauty as Elvis Presley. He had the eyes, the nose, he had the hair, and not only that, he had the voice. And not only was he the king of rock and roll and music, he was an actor. And his movies in the 60s were the highest grossing movies in Hollywood, and he was the highest paid actor. So he had it all. So I sprayed his hair, and I said, Elvis, what do you think? And he turned around and he said, oh, great, great, but I'm going to ask you a question, Larry. Who are you? What are you really all about, man? What are you really into? I was taken aback a bit. I mean, that's a very straightforward thing to say to someone who you just meet. So I said, well, Elvis, you know, I work with celebrities every day. I style hair. And by the way, I was 24 years old at the time. Elvis was 28. So I said, that's what I do to make money. But to really answer your question, Elvis, what's important to me more than anything else in life is my search for meaning, my search for truth, my search for God. I realize you're Elvis Presley, you're the big star on the planet. This probably sounds corny to you. He said, whoa, man, wait a minute. You have no idea how much I need to hear what you have to say. Please, you just keep on talking. So I told Elvis about all the books that I read on religion and spiritual growth and exercise and yoga and meditation. Because in those days, people didn't speak about these things. Today, we take it for granted. You turn on the television, and this is what people are talking about. This is what the books that are being published are all about. At any rate, Elvis and I got into a 3-hour conversation. And, you know, when you click with someone, it just happens. You just know your friends. You don't have to work on it. You don't have to wonder. If something is real, it's there.